Let me check the thing out. I bet. Yeah. Yo, this should be better. The video looks better. I haven't been through Mr. Davis settings, but yeah, here we go. Let me check the status real quick. Let me pull up the thing. Where we at? Oh, what happened?
Chat room. Hear us in the chat room. We can't see the chat room, so we don't know what the.
Yeah. Let me send you the. I'm gonna send you over the new link.
Oh no, we're good. I don't like to see it anyway. I like to read them after.
Word, okay. All right, so let me get this right real quick. Let's get out of here. Oh, we got the live screen working too. Is that up? Nah, the live screen not up. All right, give me 1 second. Yeah, what in the world is going on here? All right, refresh that. Get out of that. Get out of that. Yo, okay, live streaming dashboard. All right, bear with us 1 moment. About to have everything set up. A hot second. All right, bet. Okay, cool. They're saying in the new chat that the sound is much better. I bet. So I'm just going to rock it. I'm rocking it on my phone right now so I can see what's up. I bet. So yeah, Chief, my apologies. I know you ain't trying to run all of that back. You know, but you know, people definitely need to hear you.
I was looking at my in the monitor, and I tilt my head to the side this way, and I don't know why I do that. All my kids do that, and my mother does that, and I don't. And it's not like everybody has been around each other at all these particular times, but we all just do it in our nature. And it's like there's these little traditions, all these different things, these weird things, even if those are the particulars of your family. You can go into those things and find meaning and truth. So I think that leads back to what we were talking about as far as being conscious and understanding who we are, how we got here into these bodies and got these families, and how that pertains to our identity, to how we see ourselves. Specifically, just like because we're talking about, and we're on the group African Americans in Africa. So we're all talking about something that is unique to America in a certain way, but it's also understanding that we were deprived of everything that we were. So I feel like innately, yeah, that causes a dysfunction or malfunction of dis-ease. And once we get through understanding that we've been pushed towards having a dis-ease, you gotta understand, how do we get the ease? The way that we get it is by understanding where we are, this space-time, how we got there, by honoring where we come from, and understanding that. Then we understand the next level, and then we understand where we are, because it's like none of us can really say that we haven't been touched by this paradigm, whole idea, this colonial system. We've all been touched by it. We all are products of it. And we're trying to understand ourselves. And the best way is to look at your own history, listen to your grandmothers and your grandfathers and your aunts and uncles. Go into that and then go in and connect those dots to your searches. And it's really like as simple as going and sitting down with some of them, saying some names, and then going on Ancestry or something, finding something there, and then understanding that leads to records. There's records there, so if you got records in counties, you can search those records. You can find out the truth, the facts, what was there, what were their times. Most of us don't know what their names were. So look at yourself. You gotta get comfortable with looking at yourself in the mirror. That's what it feels like, and I only say it that way because there was times when I was so into trying to understand the cultures and the histories of everybody I've been told to understand that I saw myself in it in a way, but I didn't see myself in it personally because I couldn't connect the dots. I can connect the dots like the Borinquen, just like you, listener, can connect your dots back to where you were born, how your parents got there, that county. Many times, if you don't have any way of connecting yourself anywhere else, all your history's right there. It's all there. You gotta do is go in, and then if you understand that, then you can understand what you need to honor, what it is that you need to do to get back in alignment and to feel better in that understanding. So if we're talking about identity, I like to talk about that, but the reason is because we all have strong degrees. Even those of us who are so extreme about our identity have these levels of assimilation and indoctrination and programming that is like innate. You don't know, you can't exist without it. Like at this point, we have to rewire ourselves, and that's the process that we're going through. But we don't know how else to be, and that's what it is. So we got to walk through those steps of understanding where we are, understanding how we got this way, and understanding that we can't identify with our egos that much about it. Okay, can't be too hard on ourselves, but we have to understand that you can always correct yourself and go into your history and find a way to start over if you resonate with truth. I feel like that's kind of like the issue that I've seen a lot. Is people that I've personally met, I know people that have an understanding and connection to where they connect to the land, to what the lineage is, not resonating with that truth, resonating with some foreign ideology or something else other than who they are. Come on, any questions in the chat or?
There was one question in the chat. Rainstorm asked, what if you're not in the city you were born in? What is the best way to get a hold of your records, please?
Well, the first way is, what does your mother say, and what does her mother say if you have that available? What does your father say if you have that available? What are they saying first? And get through that code before you try to decode Western history.
I want to, one of the things we promote too, and this is very interesting. A few interviews ago, someone asked a similar question, and we said, buy your Ancestry.com account, not the DNA stuff, just the family tree, the genealogy stuff. Met a brother past weekend up at the Ramapo powwow in New Jersey. He had come up to the powwow, just watching some of the videos. He had gotten an Ancestry account, traced his lineage back to New Jersey. Didn't know that the first reservation in the U.S. was in New Jersey. Didn't know his mother had told him that his grandmother came off of a reservation. So he's thinking out west, not realizing that the reservation's right there in New Jersey. So he ends up getting the Ancestry account, traces it back, finds out that the place where Brothertown Reservation was in Jersey, in that area, is the same place where his grandmother was born. He ends up talking to one of the chiefs that's there from Sand Hill. I believe, lo and behold, his family connected in. So, perfect example. He went, did his history, used the Ancestry.com or whatever sort of genealogy tree platform you want to use, was able to connect the records because they're out there, and boom, found out who his people were out of powwow. Isn't that exactly what everyone's looking for? So that was just a tangible example to me But how effective the strategy is if you put the time and the energy in. I'm going to say this. Most of us who are saying they haven't found out who they are, either are unaware of how to go about doing it, or simply haven't put in the time and the effort. Because you'll find out who you are. It may not be who you want it to be. It may not be who you thought it was, but you can most certainly find out who you are. You most certainly can. There's records out there. There's county, the city hall records. There's all of these different things. There's church records. All of these different places that you can check. National Archives. I did a video on it. It's up on the Federation of Aboriginal Nations of America YouTube page. 7 strategies to more effectively research your history. There's ways you can do it, but one of the most effective ones that we find is just simply getting something like an Ancestry.com account and allowing that to kind of help you to start to organize family records and keep them in your own sort of personal archive.
Yo, excellent. Yeah, I'm Hey, okay, can you? I hear the audio on your side. Yeah, I hear the audio on your side. That's probably what's causing a lot of feedback. Can you Yeah. Do y'all have the video up while we're talking? Because if you mute the video, if you mute the video, that'll be they'll clear up a lot of issues. You see what I'm saying? Because basically, because we're already talking through via the Google Hangouts, so it's like double feedback pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if y'all have the video up, the actual live video, but if you do put that one on mute and leave the Google Hangouts, leave that one present. You know.
Can you see us right now?
I just see the what is this? I just see your logo, or pardon me, I see your seal. See the fauna seal right now.
Yes, now, right?
Yeah, the audio sounds much better too. Yeah, sounds great. Yeah, I see you. Yeah, good.
All right.
So what I also suggested is once they have their appropriate records, they could go ahead and look into state archives. Federal archives has a lot of general information. You can get some very good information from federal archives, but state specific, county, city, etc. Back in the day, it was a lot of counties. You had townships, towns, things of that nature, and so the state archives will have a lot of those old records.
Yeah. Deeds, go to your county register of deeds, research deeds. There's all sorts of records. Whatever someone might have kept a record of, you can go and check and see if there's any connection to your family. And if push comes to shove, and I'm not necessarily a proponent of this, but if push really comes to shove, hire a genealogist. If push really comes to shove. But Chief First there said, he's a fan of putting in the work yourself. Mr. Davis said it as well. Do the work yourself, because then you're sure that the information you're presenting, you're confident in it. It's not what someone else told you, but it's what you found out yourself and what you can speak to with confidence.
Excellent.
I think that you have to be willing to connect the dots. It's like within yourself, you have to be willing to go there. And even if it feels funny, trying to learn those things and also talk to family members, sometimes there's generational gaps, different things. It's uncomfortable, but it's also getting comfortable with that. It's part of getting comfortable with yourself. It's part of feeling and understanding that moment, that vibration, and that part of you and that family. So you just got to be willing to walk those miles. If you've done everything and you've learned everything on all the internet things you have, and you've watched a million videos, but walk the mile. Just take that walk to understand, who you come from, a couple, at least a few perspectives. that'll help you along the way, and it'll get you closer to what you're seeking.
Yeah. Any questions, Tomo? Because I know there was a certain particular element that you wanted me to kind of touch base on tonight, so I want to make sure we're addressing any questions, especially anyone who have any questions for the chief here about Taino heritage or Borican/Puerto Rico or any of that. Because I know when we did the interview a couple of weeks ago with Chief Fire River, there was a lot of kind of contention in the chat room based upon perceptions of what a real Indian is supposed to look like, and that's something that we really kind of try to stay away from at Fauna in terms of looks deciding what a real Indian is. We need to see, to Chief's point, who your people are.
Okay, so there is one question here. LL Lewis asks, so does any of their family records say mulatto, Negro, colored, black, or does it say Indian or something?
So you'll find both. And what we find is that if you find something that says mulatto, keep going back further. Because if you go back further enough, usually you'll find something that says Indian on it. And also looking at the strategy that they were doing this within families. And this is really, really prevalent in the Spanish system, but they were doing it here in the quote-unquote American one as well. So if you find records of an aunt, like a great-great-great-aunt, who is your great-great-great-grandmother's flesh and blood sister, both mother and father, your aunt's listed as an Indian, but your grandmother's listed as a Negro, well, how can your aunt, who has the same mother and father as your grandmother, be an Indian, but your grandmother not be as well? So connecting dots like that as well, looking at the overall picture, putting pieces together that you get a clear picture of what happened to your people that has you in this situation today.
So in the records at my specifically my grandfather, my father's side, which is where the high title comes from, him carrying it for his. Specifically from him, when we go back and we look at the records, he listed as de color, colored. That's the way he's listed. He never ever said anything his identity other than really he identified as Taino, but based on the way you look, they would make a judgment for you. And depending on how that caste system in that society worked, then that's how you were going to be reported, except for the fact in my there with that part of my family, that the name that is recorded in the census record has a tie to another culture or language. So other than that kind of situation, it's just going to absorb you, but that doesn't mean that the records are not there. It doesn't mean that the trail is not there for you to find it. And understanding that we all under the records, the highest convention of the land, who has made a historical reference and understanding to that record, and we understand that there were trends which were societal law. They were multifaceted ideas interpreted in different means in order for the society to keep a record of itself. This American society started to keep records of itself, and the record reflects the truth, reflects the changes every certain amount of years, how people are reported. Reflects changes, land title, it reflects all of these things that tie back to people and names tying back to land. It reflects the trend of slavery and of caste system and of everything from encomienda to our indigenous people having to adopt certain names. From there, you can trace it back to why you had to adopt a certain name That's tied back to a land, tied back to a title, an ownership, tied back to other records, which eventually lead you to understanding that if you were on that land, you were wearing that, that's because you were already on that land. So who were those? You know, it's not difficult to connect it in terms of that, but today we're going through this process of going through what is assimilation. We're trying to pull ourselves out of that, correct the record. So yeah, let's correct the record. But yeah, chat room, talk to me. Let's talk about it.
I bet. So I just let the chat know that you know, ask questions as we're getting ready to transition to this other subject. But the most recent question that came in, Arrowhead Snipers asked, what's up with more than one birthplace for one individual on the census? Is or was that strategic?
More than one birthplace?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would imagine the same individual with more than one birthplace, one of the birthplaces probably connects to being an Indian or something, so maybe a reservation or something like that. I don't know. I would need more understanding on the particulars. But anytime you see them changing records like that, there was a reason why they were doing it. They just weren't haphazardly, or it could have been the relative changing it to hide the fact that they were from somewhere.
That's a great point.
Yeah, there's always a reason why. I couldn't say for certain based off of just that little bit of information that we have.
Wow. Okay. I think there was another question. Yeah. So we have a Jaguar here. Jaguar's asking why we as as Aboriginal people not acting on public law 90-284, the Civil Rights Act of 1968.
Why? Well, we're not. Civil rights are the rights that are bestowed on property.
Yeah.
Of the chattel property.
I mean, and exercise it. You know, ideally, we should be exercising whatever rights the system has in place for our population. But to the chief's point, the real power is pulling yourself out of that civil rights situation so you can exercise what they call human rights. Because that's what they said indigenous people had. And this is the point I always make, Tomahawk. This isn't what we said that we had. This is what they said that we had. So all we're doing really is forcing them to abide by what they agreed to. So people don't get caught up in the whole, oh, we're not human and that. Definitely understand and respect all of that. We're talking about navigating this system, what these terms mean, and how they can be applied to set up buffers in terms of what they can and can't do lawfully in your space and to your person.
All right. So LL Lewis has asked another question. What other ways do they know to find their peoples besides the federal census, church records? I can't find some people before 1870. Others I'm able to get to 1790. LL Lewis, I'll share this with you. In my people's records, right? Basically, I had relatives that was changing their names. All right. So what I did, the strategy in which I employed was I spoke to my elders and I got as many names as I could get. Sisters, cousins, anybody that they could think of. You know what I'm saying? The locations of where they were located, etc. Pardon me. Once I did that, right, basically I started looking for those individuals. And what you may see is how your relatives, like for example, today, we might send our daughters and sons to go stay with a relative somewhere. So during these times these census records were taken, your people would have been your elders, your predecessors, they might have been with another relative during that time. You know what I mean? It's a lot of different variables. So like as you really start going into your people's records, your relatives' records, if you will, you know what I'm saying, you most likely will get a lot more information.
Yeah, I mean, it really is hard to say do this specifically because everyone's experience is going to be unique and specific to them based upon just where you were at, how fast they picked up on laws, how blatant racist they were being, and everyone was being racist, but certain places were doing it to an extreme more so than other places. So So it's hard to say specifically to this or that. What we're saying is anywhere where you can think of where there might be records, just go and check. You never know. Just go and check and see. Land, employment, incarceration records. All of these different things are all records of what was going on, because most of these things all have some sort of price tag associated with it. They're keeping a record. You know, when you go to jail, you got to pay a fine to get out, right? Yeah, they're keeping a record of that, because if you don't pay it, they're coming to pick you back up again. With your land deed, when they want your land, yeah, they're gonna make sure your relative signs on the dotted line, right? So there's gonna be records out there, because in order for them to do what they had to do, starting with the first treaties, claims, they have to have something that gives them permission to do what they're doing here, because they're not from here. So somehow, some way, they need to be able to point back to something that says, yes, this is why I'm able to do this, which means there's a record somewhere. So wherever you can think that there might be a record, go and check it and see. If you find out there's no records there, then hey, you cross that off your list. But a lot of times you'll find out that there are records there that have information that you weren't even thinking about. A lot of times that's the pillar that kind of fleshes out the framework that you're trying to build.
Yo, excellent. Yo, that was great information right there. Your question, yo, y'all ready to get into this assimilation and detribalization subject?
Yeah, I'm ready, unless they got some more questions. I did a video on it too, so I'm ready.
Yeah, great video too. Great video. I just did a live last night with yesterday with Copper Sun Dragon, and I showed people that video. That was a great video. I really like the information you presented in there. Also, I don't know if you got screen share working on your side, but if you text me a link, if you text me a link, I'll be able to pull up whatever information you want me to show while we're dealing with this subject.
Okay. I mean, it's going to be real simple stuff. First of all, are there any other questions that we should touch base on before we move on?
Yeah. Besides that last question from LL Lewis, there hasn't been any more.
Okay. So, assimilation, and I think that this is very pertinent, especially with the information that the chief just shared, particularly with his experience coming out of Boriken, because Boriken in particular, they got colonized by the Spanish, and then they had a day of freedom. Okay?
Not even, because it was, as soon as they knew it was supposedly free, it faded.
Yeah.
So yeah, there wasn't even a day. It was like the day dawned and they faded.
Yep. So, and particularly in that situation, when you're going from one colonizer to another, one of the most effective tools that you're going to find being utilized is assimilation. Because the biggest issue you're going to have is culture and language. Because if they're speaking a different language than you, then that means they can be plotting on you, especially if you don't understand the language. You need to do away with that. And if they're speaking a different language, then there's an acknowledgement that there's something different about them than there is with you. So there's a remembrance there. So you got to do away with that, and you got to do away with the culture, because the culture a lot of times is what keeps the spirit of the people alive. You know, the types of food you eat, the clothes you wear, the music you listen to, the ceremonies you participate in, the traditions you keep alive. This is what keeps your personal people's narrative alive and well. So one of the most effective and immediate tools they're going to utilize is assimilation. Strip everything down that makes you you, so that they can then start to rebuild you in the image that they would like to have you see yourself in. And this is a policy, like I said, that was utilized everywhere. Anytime there's been colonization going on, war, whatever, assimilation. Do away, burning of books, burning of libraries, destroying of castles, and building on top of them. Wiping away any and every element that reminds people that there was something before this craziness that's going on. Because if people can remember, like we're all starting to do right now, then you start to realize, well, wait a minute, the way things are right now isn't the way they have to be. If they used to be different, then why are we stuck in what's going on right now? And even just that thought is dangerous to a colonial system. Just the thought that something can be different than and how it is right now is dangerous because thoughts lead to action. So assimilation is the major tool that they were using from the late 1700s here in the U.S. all the way up until I want to say the early 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s. And when I was doing, and this is the information that's out there, I started off by talking about the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934. It's called the Wheeler-Howard Act, I do believe. And basically what you see in this governmental policy is the U.S. starts to encourage Indians to reestablish their cultures, govern their lands, start to be self-sufficient and self-governing. After 150 years of trying to assimilate the Indians, not letting them speak their language, cutting their hair, putting them in boarding schools. This is where a lot of that came from. The Trail of Tears comes out of that, forcing them west. All of these things to do away with the savage, because that's what they saw us as savages. So you're going to see all of that assimilation going on, and then all of a sudden, in the early 1900s, 1920s really, the policy kind of ends. And then in 1934, all of a sudden, they're encouraging everyone to reestablish who they are and be strong. Why is all of that going on? And this is a video we also did a few weeks ago. It was the Indian Citizenship Act of 1924, which made the claim commercially, because that's the only way we're really dealing with these people, commercially, that any Indian born within the territorial jurisdiction of the U.S. is a U.S. citizen. And when you wash away all of that jargon, territorial jurisdiction just means you issue the birth certificate. Now, when your parents bring you to the hospital, the state makes you get a birth certificate, right? They require you. A lot of times they don't want to let you leave the hospital without having a birth certificate. Because that birth certificate and your parents signing for it, or you signing for your child, is giving them permission to say, yes, they were born in the jurisdiction of the state of Rhode Island, the state of Massachusetts, Commonwealth of Virginia. That birth certificate is their proof that you're born within their territorial jurisdiction. So how many of us have birth certificates? So what you see is that whole assimilation thing going on, the birth certificate sort of structure coming out, and now all of these people are getting birth certificates, or getting citizenship through military service, or asking for it because they think that if they can get fee simple title to the land, then they'll be able to protect it, not realizing that they're just going to raise taxes on it. So there's this mad rush or force of Indians becoming citizens. And once all of the Indians are citizens, and once that claim is established that if you're born within the territorial jurisdiction, you're a citizen, well, there's no more fear of the Indians being Indians. Because they're not Indians anymore. They're not what you would classify as Native Americans, natural born citizens of the U.S. So now, or of America. So now being Native Americans,
You're a citizen of a corporation.
there you go. Because you have that birth certificate. There's their proof right there. Remember, if you don't object to these things, if your parents didn't know and they just went and did it, ignorance of the law is never an excuse. That's the first thing they're going to tell you. That's not our fault. You should have known better. So, all of these Indians having birth certificates, there go the human rights. There go them being part of another nation. You're born within territorial jurisdiction. So there's really all you're going to get is civil rights. Permissions.
What we don't understand from all that is, again, what happens when you sign a birth certificate? What your parents are essentially doing is signing away their right to you, and the state is selecting them then as stewards for you as their property. And they take out loans on that. That's why it's printed on notes. So everyone's trying to seek a better way of life, and they're thinking because of things like the Industrial Revolution and all these different things that it's better to do it that way. There's just the battle's been lost, and they're already having a hard enough time being themselves.
So let's take this a little bit further. So you get the Indians are now citizens. Now they're encouraging reorganization. So this federal recognition process pops up. And the Indian Reorganization Act said something to the effect of tribes now under the federal jurisdiction of the federal government in 1934 were eligible for this, that, and the other. After this, the federal government appoints the Bureau of Indian Affairs, which most of us have heard about, the BIA. That's the agency that really has been handling the quote-unquote federal recognition process. Now, this federal recognition process is different from a federal acknowledgement process. Acknowledgement and recognition are two separate processes and have two different meanings in law. Acknowledgement is just saying, yes, you are who you say you are. Recognition is me saying that you have permission to do what you're doing because I said so. So think about that. Federal recognition. You have tribes running to get federally recognized, to be recognized by the federal government, and for the feds to say that, yes, they exist because we say they exist. That's what federal recognition is. Now, federal recognition, however, is different from having your lands put in a federal trust. What federal recognition does in U.S. law is make you eligible to have your lands put into trust by the BIA. So that's what's been going on since 1934. The BIA has been putting lands into trust for American Indian tribes after they get federally recognized.
You know what it seems? It seems like the parallel, based on a conversation we were having, Tony, earlier, not earlier today, but earlier in our time. Like, we were having this conversation about full faith and credit. So, essentially, that whole idea, right, of this certain amount of acknowledgement from this other entity, be liable for it. Same idea, full faith and credit, but it's navigating the system differently. Because what federal recognition is, okay, yeah, all right, yeah. You know, since we did mess everything up for you, we're gonna hold this place for you, but we're going to, you know, just control it a certain way for the betterment of your people, unless we can make some money off it, and you know.
What happens with this federal recognition relationship is tribes who are sovereign nations, they're just not existing commercially at this point, because that's what the problem is. It's all commercial. But with this federal recognition relationship, you're now considered wards of the U.S., and you're now, nation is transitioned over to the status of a domestic dependent nation.
You are a minority.
You're under the protection of the U.S. now. It's a stronger nation than you. And you agree with it for federal recognition. So now you're under the jurisdiction, and then, as a result of being federally recognized, the U.S. says, well, we'll also put lands in the trust for you, you know, since we've recognized you now. Think about that. You're supposed to be a sovereign nation. You're going to a nation that's here in your lands, asking them to recognize you, and then asking them to put your lands in a trust for you. So you completely agreed with them that you're not in a capacity at all to govern yourself. Completely, totally. And now your lands are in a federal trust that is controlled by the U.S. Congress through the BIA.
You gave yourself up.
You gave it up.
Yeah, you gave yourself up, so we're going to tell you who you are. And we're going to write it as a record of law for your betterment, but we're going to hold you. We're going to hold you accountable to these records that we are writing for you. And if you didn't understand it, tough luck. If you didn't, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you are now property, and we will do with you as we please.
So that's the place that a lot of tribes found themselves in right now. In a federal recognition relationship. Now there are, you know, of course, for this, you know, it's a trade because it's a contractual relationship. So they're going to give you some, you know, access to government grants. They're going to give you, you know, some funding and support for different programs and services. The one that everyone was excited over, you might be able to open a casino, you might be able to open a smoke shop, you know. But all of these things are going to be done by permission and with the approval of the U.S. Congress and the U.S. government, because they're your caretakers, they're your trustees. So you get the benefits in terms of economic supports and things of that nature, but your sovereignty is what you're trading away for it. Now, this is what's been going on up until 2009 with the ruling called Kacheri versus Salazar. And let me, before we get into this, let me stop there. Tom Hawk, any questions on any of that we just discussed?
Nah, they're engaged in other kinds of discussions right now, talking about land and changing names and things of that nature. So it's all good.
Okay.
We got a lot of people listening, but we got a lot of people just indulge in their own communications.
All right. So I'll continue along then. So 2009, you get Kacheri versus Salazar, and this is a very, very, very important case. This case involved my cousins, the Narragansett Indian tribe, came out of a smoke shop raid that took place, I want to say in 2003. Yes. And pretty much my cousins, they had land claims down in the southern regions of the state. In 1881, the state illegally detribalized the Narragansetts. My great-great-great-grandfather was involved in that. He was one of the chiefs during that time when all of that was going on. Basically said, oh, you guys have quote-unquote too much African blood. Not real Indians anymore. Totally ignoring the fact that we were known to look a certain way, but most certainly weren't African. So they brought this, they sued the state in 1981 and they won. Then in 83 they got federal recognition. So now they're federally recognized. They also agreed to a public law 280 relationship by asking that the state troops be able to assist if they need help with any sort of criminal or lawful situations. So, complete subjects, but decided to open up a smoke shop and try to sell tax-free tobacco on a state road. So, Governor Donald Kacheri was governor at the time. Him being the governor that he was, he sent in the state troopers, very violent sort of crackdown, looked awful, made national headlines. Just a really ugly situation. The tribe went to court to sue behind it, and they ended up losing because they were federally recognized. And under the jurisdiction, you can't be under jurisdiction and not follow what the state's rules and guidelines are. That's not the way that goes. They're not sovereign. Once again, they're domestic dependent nations. So not only did they rule that they couldn't do that, but they took it a step further and said, because of the language of the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934, DIA wasn't able to lawfully put land into trust for any tribes after 1934. It all had to be done by act of Congress. Now look at that. It's not that you can't be federally recognized, it's just that we couldn't put your lands into trust for you. And most of them probably only got federally recognized because it was a chance to put their lands in trust. So see the game they played, duped us, a lot of us, into getting federally recognized. Then 85 years later, pulled a rug from right underneath us and say, oh, and by the way, we actually didn't even put your lands into trust lawfully, so you didn't even have any trust lands, just federally recognized. And that's hundreds of tribes. That's hundreds of tribes since 1934. Hundreds of tribes.
There is no way within the monster.
Here you go.
Within the beast, just staying within it and conceding.
Yeah.
There's no way within it.
Any time you as a sovereign nation say to another nation, I need you to do this for me, you're conceding some level of your sovereignty. You're conceding to the fact that, hey, I'm not able to be self-sufficient. I'm not able to be self-sustainable. I need you for this. And that's what the whole federal recognition thing was all about. So now you have a bunch of tribes that are federally recognized under U.S. jurisdiction, but don't have any trust lands. Now it's crazy, right? Tom, you just tagged me in a post about the Mashpee tribe, because they are the first of what is probably going to be ongoing situations where tribes are losing their lands in trust. And you can get into the particulars. I don't necessarily want to get into that on this particular discussion, but it all goes back, as we've been saying, to knowing who you are. Because when your land claims are substantial and truthful, to the chief's point, you don't have to worry about things coming to bite you later on. So that's all I'll say about that. But getting back to this, so there's no tribe since 1934 have had their lands put into trust, but they are federally recognized. Now, how does this fit into the work that Fauna's been doing? Well, the beauty of this situation then is that if the federal government didn't put any of these lands into trust, the door is wide open for the tribes to put their own lands into trust for themselves. Because that's the only way that you could possibly claim to be a sovereign nation is if you're putting your own lands into trust. How can you claim to be a sovereign nation when you're going and asking the U.S. to put your lands into trust? You're asking them to treat you like a child. So the only way to do it is to put your lands into trust yourself. But the only way you can do that and not get caught up with making false claims is to know who you are and trace yourself back to before this colonization started. You have to be absolutely 200% certain that you are the individual that you're saying you are. And when you make these claims, no one can come back, especially not the U.S. government, and say, no, that's not true, because I guarantee you the moment you start to speak like this, they're running your records to make sure that you are who you say you are. Does that make sense so far, everyone?
Yeah, everybody's following along with you. We just got another serious question right here, but say when you're ready to deal with the questions again, please continue.
Let's deal with the questions right now, and then I'll get you more.
Oh, you want the question right now?
Absolutely.
Yo, so we got a Don Dada 33. He says, or they say, I have an ancestor coming to the Americas from London on the Negro Servant Return Act. Do anyone know about that act?
I don't know about it offhand, but I would imagine it probably has to do something with all of the Indians that were sent over that way initially.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. I'm about to look that act up right now.
Remember, the first passage to the transatlantic slave trade were exporting indigenous, quote, Negroes to terror from here. So, yeah, that's why they come back. They were exporting the Indians, quote, Negroes, from the beginning. So some of these ideas, as far as trying to level the field in certain ways or make corrections, started coming in with certain societies first. Some of these, as far as these ideas of quote, emancipation, what that leads to. So some of these different acts that are corrections on the part of other governments follow a different timeline.
Yeah. And it's important to have the global perspective on what's going on, so we don't get wrapped up in this color thing. This color thing is not something that's ours. It's not our people. Yes, we were, a large number of us were very dark-skinned, melanated people, but that doesn't mean that we would have excluded those of us who were lighter skinned by saying you're too light skinned now. That was a concept that was brought to us by colonizers to separate us, because as soon as we stop paying attention to the blood, stop paying attention to the physical attributes, to allow all sorts of false alliances to be created. Because if I'm lighter skinned than my brother, that allows now for me to be treated in a better fashion than my brother, simply because I'm light skinned, which can now cause conflict between me and my brother. So if you pay attention to what the whole purpose of the color game is to cause dissension between families, to tear them apart, to build a new identity. This is the problem with all of this copper-colored nation stuff, and I understand the intent and spirit behind it. But it can't be. That's the same strategy for nationality, a new one, that they use to tear us down. You break down all of it, what that was there, assimilate them, get them to forget everything from their past, and now we're going to be this new thing. We're going to be this new thing. That's where America came about. We're the Americans now. Because we don't want to be Irish slaves. We don't want to be English vagabonds. We don't want to be that anymore. And if we call ourselves that, then we're subject to that. So we're not going to be English, Irish, we're going to be Americans now. And since we're Americans, we can do what Americans do. Well, what do Americans do? We don't know. Let's go figure it out. Well, yeah, we steal land. We slaughter Aboriginal people. We all of these things.
And we're free to do it.
here in this thing called America since they got here. So we have to. It all is going to start. And we're going to keep hammering this home. If you've noticed, there's been certain teachers who have said it, and I haven't mentioned them to them to say it beforehand. You have to know who you are. If you want to have any hope of undoing colonization, you have to know specifically who you are, specifically where your people are from, what happened to them. If you're not in your homelands, how did you end up where you're at now? You have to be able to articulate that story so that when you're addressing this commercial system, because that's all it is, you can substantiate your claim. Just like with anything else. That's like you living. Imagine someone in your city, someone coming and saying, "Oh, that house you bought is mine because I had a relative who looked like the owner who you bought it from." No clear, specific tie to that land that they're saying is theirs, that's yours now, however way you got it, simply because they have a relative who looks like the person who sold it to you, they want the land now. That's what most of us sound like. I had relatives who looked like those people. That's exactly what we sound like when we do the copper colored nation thing. And that's why it doesn't get us anywhere. And I'm going to take it a step further. I think we need to get away from talking about what we are. Because we're not Africans, we're not this, we're not, and we need to really get into what we are.
That's right.
If African Americans aren't Africans, then what are they? Well, they're Aborigines. Okay. What kind of Aborigines? Are they Eastern Woodland? Are they Southeastern Woodland? Are they Northern Plains? Are they, what are they? Oh, okay, they're Eastern Woodlands. Which particular Eastern Woodland tribe? Oh, okay, they're Narragansetts. Okay, which particular tribe of man underneath that? What did I say before, Tomahawk? Specifically specific?
Specifically specific.
You gotta get like that. And when you get like that, all of the doors open because it said the truth is the truth. Once you lay the truth out in front of them, what more is there to say? What more is there to say once the truth has been laid out? But if you come with partial truth, half the truth, 99.9% of the truth, but miss that 0.1%, they're going to get you on that 0.1%. They're going to get you. You have to know who you are.
I think you have to understand what the truth is. And it's like you would say with percentages, but it's just absolute. It is. There's not another answer. All we do when we think is ask ourselves questions, answer our own questions. So, I mean, if you get down to your answers, you understand it, and you understand it to resonate with truth or what is impartial, what makes sense based on not what you think, but what your records say and what it is.
It's we have to train ourselves to understand that this whole colonial system it is backed up by history, but it doesn't care about bloodlines, doesn't care about history, doesn't care about the truth unless you wrote it down correctly. Unless it's down on record somewhere from your mouth or your pen, their ears or their eyes, doesn't care. It's what they said. Until we go and correct the record ourselves that, no, that's not who we are. No, that's not what happened to us. It's what happened to us in their colonial system. So this is why Fauna says that the first know who you are, and then the second step is you get together with your family so that you can create your clan or your tribe with other families. Because if you're gonna do this nation thing, then you have to be operating like one. So this is where the Kacheri versus Salazar situation, to bring it back to that, if these lands haven't been put into trust, that then means that if you and your people were never federally recognized, then you have the opportunity to get together with your family, clan, get together with your tribe, and take your own lands into trust. That's what the opportunity is right here. And I said it in the video, and I'll say it again. What an awesome creator we serve, because I know tribes that were spending 15, 20 years begging to be federally recognized, knew who they were, all of the paperwork and everything in order, and the Fed just saying no. No, not going to do it. Yeah, we know who you are, but no, not going to do it. Yeah, you're right, but no, I'm not going to do it. And in the end, that's probably the best thing that could have happened to them. Because that means they never signed on that dotted line. They never said, okay, you can have this, you can control this. They never said that. So now, it's a matter of taking and readjusting our mindset to realize, hey, wait a minute. If we're sovereign nations, that means anything that the federal government can do for us, we should be able to do and can do for ourselves. So if all of the funding and all that starts with the recognition relationship which allows federal trust to be created, why can't you in your tribe create your own tribal trust? And no one tells you who you are. No one. You tell them who you are. There you go. And if you cannot, then you will have a name made for you. There you go. And there it is, and you're already wearing it. Yeah. That's simple. Can nobody tell you? You got to tell them, and that's how you correct it, by knowing how to tell them. And remember, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. We don't get special treatment because of what happened to us, not in the eyes of international law. We don't get special consideration because of this terrible thing we've been going through. That we don't get that. So yelling and screaming about what happened to us, that's not getting us anywhere. You have to take that energy and direct it towards something that's going to be productive. Mm-hmm. What Father is going to continually say is find out who you are, get with your people, create your tribe, whoever your elders are that's governing your council, get all your records together, and once you're at that point, you're in a position to be able to come and talk to other nations about needing assistance. If you're not in that position yet, then you're not in a position to talk to another nation about anything. There's no sense in reaching out. We can't help. We deal with Bonneville specifically with nations. And instead of people feeling off put by that and feel like, oh, they're being bougie, what it should motivate people to do is say, okay, I have a standard I need to meet. I need to be at a certain level to even approach this situation. It's not about arrogancy. It's about, yeah, if I'm going to say I'm a nation, then I need to be conducting myself like a nation. So when I go and interact with other nations, they look at me and say, yeah, that's a nation right there we can work with. And we've been colonized so much that we get mad when we hear that we need to be a nation, but we still want to create the copper-colored nation. And I'm going to chalk all of that up to ego. And I'm going to say it's ego because of this. If you actually have to go back and get with your council and get with your tribe, well, there's a large chance that you might not be the chief. Or you might not be the man or the woman. You might have to check in and confer to people. And a lot of us don't want that. We want to go off and do our own thing. So rather than go through the steps we need to, we want to just try to find some other way. And you are more than welcome to try to find some other way. If you feel that this system and the way we're navigating it isn't the best way to do it, and you've got another way to do it, you, my friend, Nita, friend, you are free to go up along your path. But I'm wise enough and old enough now to know that if someone says, if I'm trying to find somewhere and someone says, hey, go that way and you'll get there for certain, I'm going to go that way to make sure I get there for certain. You know what it feels like? It feels like a lot of folks would rather invest in stuff like Umar Johnson's School for Boys, than to invest the time and not even much money, than to invest in something that has to do with themselves and actually walking that walk. Because it's easier to defer someone else's struggle, something that has been done that you've seen that's what that group think mentality is. Mm-hmm. People have been under a scattered mentality already.
based on an assumption of laws. Even when there wasn't laws. That's like before integration. Even when there wasn't a loss, that there were still places, there were still losses, and eventually everybody will. They I guess they bought in, but at the end of the day, today we're here. We understand that the trail is there. We gotta follow it, and we have the availability not just to have to follow a crowd, to be a crowd. You know, invest in something that's not authentic. You know, what you find out and what you've earned in your path and your understanding of your own history and your family history is going to pay you forever in a way that nothing else can, because you walked that. You made the spirit quest, the voyage. That'll repay all your ancestors. But it's something that you don't learn from just being in chat rooms and on the internet, and you learn that from walking it out and connecting with that and making a real connection with who you are or who your family is. That's the difference. That's what assimilation is. When you're not willing to do that.
There you go. There you go. That's what this whole conversation about, Tomahawk. The fact that so many of us don't want to take the time to put in to find out who they actually are is case point that we've been assimilated and colonized. The fact that you don't want to do that, because anywhere else you go in this world, people are going to tell you, I'm this, son of this, who came from this. If you look at the English royal line, right? All of that's tied back to bloodline. All the Duchess who just got married to the Prince.
This whole world is run bloodline.
The whole world
is run on knowing who you are. And if you don't know who you are, then hey, that means I'm gonna give you something to be, and you're gonna be mine.
There you go.
Because you don't know who you are.
I'll tell you who you are.
You feel safer here, so I'm gonna give you something.
There you go. You don't know who you are. Let me tell you who you are. You're my slave. You're going to stand right over here on the side of my bed at night while I sleep. All right? You better not move or I'm going to whack you with this. Well, yeah, but you don't know who you are. So this is who we've decided that you are. And if you take your emotion, your personal hurt and emotion out of it, how absurd to not know who you are. Think about it. From the eyes of the world looking at you with no compassion, with no pity, with no care about the circumstances that you've been through. This cold, hard look at yourself, as the chief was saying, to look in the mirror. How absurd to not know who you are.
I think it's like, you know, we have to be so thankful that we can go back.
Absolutely.
Because,
absolutely,
you know, yeah, it was like, there was a lot of stuff going on to that point, that you are that subjugated.
yes.
And for you to even be conscious at this time, right now.
That's right.
In history, for you to be able to look back,
absolutely,
and find it out, it's like the world, the universe is calling you to do that.
You're here for a reason. I shared this. Go ahead.
No, I was George Washington Carver, an inventor, a great Negro American, right? Based on all the things he invented for our present society to take and utilize based on its intelligence. He was also enslaved. He was a eunuch. They cut off his penis so he couldn't reproduce himself. So he couldn't ever be a threat. But they utilize his mind. You see, this is how powerful we are. That even in something so sick and subjugated, you see that they were just trying to use his intelligence and who he was and ate. So we can identify with that. We can identify with a million different things, but at the end of the day, we got to understand that this was dead serious. It's not supposed to be easy. for you to know who you are. There you go. You're not supposed to be easy, so you gotta go and do that, and it's something that's why you don't feel complete. That's why you don't feel right. Yeah, you have to do it. You have to. It's you. If you're listening to us speak right now and hearing us say these words to you, the Creator has you here listening to this platform for a reason. Mr. Davis was motivated by something to start this platform. Tabo Tony was motivated by something to extend the offer for us to come on to it. We were motivated by something to sit here and speak these words to you, and you were motivated by something to sit here and listen. So you're here for a specific reason at this time right now because there's a job for you to do. And what he ultimately came to when I was talking about the brother who came up to the powwow was the understanding that as the history writes itself, because he was taking the steps to find out who he was, make those connections, show up, and introduce himself to some other people who are further along, not to have an ego or be arrogant or be like, no, they're not going to look, but just to show up and say, hey, I'm me. He made the connection, and now he's going to be, when this history is written, acknowledged as that one in his family who was humble enough to go and find out, but just humble enough to listen and go and do. Not to try to add their 2 cents into it, but to say, hey, if that's what I'm supposed to do, let me just go do it. And he's going to be that individual when they look back and they're going to say, yeah, it was him. He was the one who went to the powwow. Because he went to the powwow, he met the tribe. And then that is you right now, if you're listening to this, decide to actually move on the wisdom and the guidance that you're hearing. Because each of us are just pieces to this puzzle that Creator is putting together that you are a part of. I think you gotta be humble and also come with a humble spirit. Absolutely. Because I've also, there's been situations where people come back and want to know, but are so ignorant. And they're wearing they wear their emotions and the weakness. The truth is, most of us have been deprived of really, as men, a lot of times have been deprived of understanding a pecking order and also a male hierarchical kind of society to understand that there's you gotta pay the cost. You have to go through certain things in order to get through that threshold, and that's what makes it final and ceremonious and something that has value. And that's part of culture. The thing is, when we come back sometimes wanting to know or being demanding or being like we think we know because we might have read a bunch of different things, we have to be practical and understand that it's each one to each one, and it's understanding that there is a way. That's what you're coming back to, is understanding that there is a culture, there's a way, there's things, there's a path that you can walk. Yeah. And it's not just, and you have your own way to be yourself within claiming your indigeneity and understanding where you come from, but there's also a tradition. You can honor that. You can also do traditions that are new, that are things that you're building with your family. But the whole point is that you got to respect that. You want to have respect for that. Absolutely. You don't want to not have respect for it and come at it and end up in a situation where you're having conflict. Yeah. You want to have respect for that. So I think that we come with humble spirits. We're understanding that our family has their own vibration, and we get to know ourselves as we talk to our family. And sometimes our family ain't easy to talk to, but at the end of the day, it's that seeking back to understand those parts of your family that help you understand things about yourself. Yeah. So there's room, you know what I mean? It's just having that spirit to go and figure out what's going on with you connected to your family. What is it about you that makes you particular in certain ways? Yeah. I think that it's such the only way it could be is to get back with your family, because
A lot of times the reason why it's so hard for your family to listen to you when you're telling them stuff, because your family knows you. They know if they've seen you from the inception. So they have their perception about you. So what greater challenge to have to overcome as you come into this knowledge of who you are than to have to go back to the very people who know you best and get them to have buy-in to what you're saying. Because then that now goes back and means addressing the fact that when you're like me, when you were younger, you were kind of a dork. Your grandmother had you, you know what I'm saying? So now you got family members who, when you're coming with all of this, they're looking at you side-eye because they're like, hold up. You're going up to protest? Hold up. You're going, so you got that going on. You got other ones who you might have been in a different lifestyle. They're looking at you from that lifestyle, like, hold on, what do you mean you're on this track now? Like, so what better way for you to almost that coming of age sort of process, that thing that we've been missing, right? That what do they call it?
Missing link?
No, it's like a process that you go through when you transition.
Initiation?
Yes, it's like an initiation process. Think about it. We've all been so misclassified, so misinformed that the true initiation process to be able to take this knowledge that we've gathered and then be able to go back and implement it in the reorganization of how families to get our tribal structures back together. What better initiation process could there be when we're talking about a nationality and rebuilding our nation that were colonized out of existence?
Yo, what y'all saying is so important, man.
Time out.
Like, yo,
Where we at?
Yo, my bad. Yo, I was on mute. I'm monitoring the chat and all of that. Now the people they listening, they enjoying it. You know what I mean? It's a lot of confusion, as y'all aware of. We got these Africans / Moors and these Pan-Africans and got all these people, man, who got people's minds shuffled. Back to what you were saying a moment ago, Chief Teregua, with Christianity, with these John Merritt characters, with these Estebanco characters, with all these different vassals that was brought here, people it seems they got it in their head, can't we all just get along? When majority of people, they're not even trying to work together where they at.
It isn't that you're not getting along, it's that in order for you to understand what really happened, you have to understand that there is a truth and there is a lie, or that there is a path that is authentic, and then there's a lot of side paths that can put you into nothing, that can bring you into just another subject state. But you gotta understand that this is all like a huge ongoing operation. It's still going on. So you gotta look at that record and understand that there's a lot more to learn. You gotta continue to go through the steps we have to go through. So
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, for all of those ideologies, my question is always this: prove it. Prove that applies to you specifically. Show me some documentation. Show me some records. Not some ancillary stuff talking about people in general. Show me something that applies to you directly.
That's right.
And they can't. So my thing is this: how do we build together if we're both not following the truth? How do I build with someone who claims to be a Moor who's trying to tell me I'm a Moor as well when I know I'm not? How do we build?
It's like, what? All right, this is the whole thing to this idea of what truth is. Truth isn't the most pervading paradigm. It is, yeah. That doesn't mean that that's truth, because you find a whole bunch of information about Moors from Morocco, or that you find a whole bunch of information about a religious sect or any of these different things. That it has to be authentic. and it's absolute. It's not going to be in the realm of I don't know. You will know.
That's
you have
right.
to be willing to go through the steps that it takes for you to get to that truth. And that's why it's the truth, because it isn't easily accessible. There you go. So now you want to know who you are. You've done everything else. What is still left to do? There you go. To go back to you and to the truth and to come over those hurdles. And once you actually just take a day for yourself. My whole thing for a long time was this whole controversy in my family between the way a name was spelled. Nobody ever got on. Nobody ever looked at it. Everybody just like let it go. And there were some folks that wore it this way and some folks that wore it that way. But it was like everybody was scared to go into that.
Yeah, yo, hey Chief, thank you for bringing that up.
I got the answer.
No, I want to thank you for bringing that up because in the conversations that I have with people, I address experiences that I've had with my relatives on both sides. You know what I'm saying? Through my mother's lineage and my father's as well. For me, I can't speak for no one else, but for me, I observed in my youth, both sides, they said, oh, we're this and we're that, we're Indians, what have you. Cool. Now, I've matured, and as I'm growing up and all of that, I'm seeing conflict, various petty divisions between my elders. You know what I'm saying? Various like small petty, like he said, controversies. And I was talking to one of the people's earlier, and I was like, yo, it's crazy. Yo, we got our elders who's still mad at each other over some bullshit that happened back like 40 years ago.
That's family though. That's what it's always been.
Yeah, true. But I'm saying, but this is the bullshit though. Yo, us as the youth.
That's some this, that's some that, man. It's just human relation. And you know what the truth is? The only difference is that other people kind of hide their things a little bit more, but we're more community-based naturally, so everybody knows, and then everybody has something to say about it. Everybody thinks their opinion matters.
Yeah, but see, the youth gets hit though. The youth take losses due to these petty conflicts. You know what I'm saying? Because now you can't see your cousin. You can't see your aunt. You can't see, and then fast forward. Now you in your 30s, you in your 40s, and now you're trying to dig in the crates of your people. You know what I'm saying? And your people's acting antisocial because of some shit that happened 60 years ago, right?
That's already what it is.
Word, yeah, already know. Shit, I had to go through hell with my peoples, man. I cursed my people out. I'll be honest with you. I be spazzing on my people, man. You know what I'm saying? Elders, I just ain't got time for the bullshit. Like, my people, they want to talk about God and Jesus. I'm like, fuck God and Jesus. That's just me. I don't want to hear that shit. I'm asking about you. I'm asking about your grandmother. I want to know what was going on, what your peoples told you before I got here. Before I arrived, what was going on. I don't care about no God and Jesus. Because that shit ain't doing nothing for us. You know what I'm saying?
I get that, but that's a big issue in my family too. And let me say this too, Tom. I learned to have a little compassion with them to what they went through. Right now, we're not living a time frame where we say we're Indians, they're coming and kicking our front doors, drag our father out, and burn a cross on our front lawn. We're not living in those times. So I had to realize that a lot of them, through their elders, it was instilled in them, don't talk about this at all. Bury that, keep it hidden, and when you have to bury who you are, what else to expect for conflict within your family? People just talk about the fact that they're Indians and others don't, you just divided the family. Or transgenerational trauma. There you go. We pass it on, and not even in words, in actions and gestures, we pass on things that we don't even realize because our DNA is writing everything down. And so now we got that. We all have this kind of, I guess, the idea of a disease, but we all got this within us that we got to counter.
Yo, let me add this real quick. My apologies. Check it out, right? I've been so patient. Let me tell you how so patient I've been. This is just in recent years, all right? So now, nobody told me that my great-grandfather, who was my great-grandfather's first cousin, who was born in 1910, right? Nobody told me that man was alive. I just found out like 5 years ago. Okay. And I used to live in the same city that he was in. And nobody told me when I was living in that same city he was in. I used to play chess down the street from his house, at a park down the street from his house, and nobody never told me you should go see your uncle. None of my elders told me. Anyway, when I finally called word, I was like, hey, I'm like, your grandma, hey yo, can you give me our uncle's number? And she like I have to look for it. I gave her a week, gave her a month. It took me a fucking year to get my great grandfather's first cousin number. All right. I got to speak to the man 2 times. He just transitioned this past spring. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I be spazzing on my elders. Because yeah, certainly, I knew they went through hell at some points in time in their life. True indeed. We going through hell right now in this point in time in our life. We got hell to go through right now, and we need to have proper guidance.
I'm gonna say it like this. In my family, I was able to tell my aunts, uncles, and my mother what their grandparents. They didn't know because of different reasons. In the folklore of my family, it said that my grandfather, my mother's father, that he was raised working in latrines. They didn't have toilets back then. He was the little latrine nigga that used to clean out the shit without no shoes. And his feet were sick his whole life because of him working in these latrines. He didn't have father, he had his mother. But then when we go into over time, the family folklore is that the reason he didn't have his father was because his mother and his father tried to run off of a plantation at some point. They don't know what happened to my great grandfather, but they know what happened to my great grandmother, which is that she was hung up from her arms, and they burned her feet. They burned her and whipped her to the point where she was off after that. She was kind of crazy after that, I suppose. So she never talked about their grandfather, even though they got her until she was like in her late 70s. She was senile, but she never talked about it. It was so traumatic. So we gotta understand that there's a lot of levels of trauma behind it, and by us digging in there, we know their story. It's like something in us answered and filled, and we gotta be willing to do that. But it's painful to go into, and then to understand that these folks are enslaved, and they're going through a whole nother history of trauma where they were enslaved here. And on my mother's side there, originally my great grandfather's name was supposedly in French. So if it was supposedly in French, it means that the French colonized what area?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got Haiti. Yeah, there's a couple islands, but Haiti more than anything, Haiti was a slave port. So on that side, in that part, in that story in my family, they're coming from Haiti, and from Haiti, what is the biggest slaving of the indigenous folks? This is where they're building this whole thing. They sending them everywhere. It was some of the biggest slave ports, the first original slave port. So we still come back to ourselves. So, when I still come back to that, I come back to looking at, man, in this side of my family, I was able to find out the names. And their names only traced to Spanish names, which is legendary, supposed to come from French names, but still comes from what? Slavery at these points is all still people in the Caribbean. So we're all talking about our Arawak people, and that's whether it's it's any one of the tribes. It comes from there, so there's still a tie. But you can tie a name or not. You can tie it back somewhere, and then you can understand that ideal and spiritual ideology and go connect with it. But no matter what, there's a place to connect. Everything in the family, it doesn't, but you will find your path and your understanding. Because there's always something there, and that's why it's there for you to look for.
Any questions or anything, brother? I know we're getting to that time.
Basically, it's just a lot of different chat going on. I'm just monitoring the chat. You know, just had to remove some weirdo up out of here real quick. But nah, it's all good. The people they're saying that the conversation is great. You know what I mean? It's interesting. You know what I mean? They're learning a lot. You know what I mean? And I'm pleased with that. You know.
I think it's I wanna reiterate to people, understanding this system, to make sense of it, you have to look at it from a commercial perspective. How they're getting away with things is because of the commercial rights that they have. How you want to do it is by writing things down commercial. It's all commercial with these people. And all of your history and all of your bloodlines and all of the knowledge you have, what's going to back up the commercial claims that you're making to back them off. And it's all going to start with you knowing who you are. Every chief that, you know, we've had the opportunity to bring on here since we started about, 7 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, they've all said the same thing. And all of us look different than each other. All of us, I heard the Sagamore, they were questioning the Sagamore because he had straight hair.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, but we'll also turn on the flip side and say that our phenotype is the original phenotype, right?
Mm-hmm.
So our phenotype is the original phenotype, but then we got a problem when we produce things that we haven't been force-fed to believe are normal. So no, there's no way on earth that a man that's brown skin could have straight skin unless he's got European in. There's no way on earth I'm this light skin unless I got European in. And they don't let dark skin Puerto Ricans off the island either, because I haven't seen it. All of these things show us just how assimilated and colonized we are when we're putting limits on ourselves while at the same time saying we're the origin of everything. It doesn't make sense.
Nations.
It doesn't.
Nations, right? All right, kings. Nations don't ask for permission. You don't ask for acknowledgement or recognition from other nations unless you just subject.
That's right.
So the thing is, we gotta understand that your whole life you only know how to be a slave.
Yeah.
And you got to be willing to explore and understand that there's other ways of being that you was before you was a slave. What does that mean? And what are those values? Those things translate to today and right now. So all you gotta do, face that, man. Face yourself. Be willing to be yourself by knowing yourself and just walking it out. Other than that,
I don't know what to tell you. If you're not willing to go and start with yourself, I do not know what to tell you. And the flip side to that is don't come asking me who you are. What an absurd question. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful to anyone. I'm just saying, think about it for a second. Take your personal feelings about yourself and your own story out of it and think about it. You're going to come and ask me to tell you who you are? But then get mad when the quote-unquote white man tell you you're a slave. Well, you don't know who you are. Why can't you be whatever the other person on the other end of the line says you are if you don't know who you are? If you can't tell me who you are, if you're asking me, I don't have to be nice when I tell you who you are.
And it's just like, if you choose to see everything from a certain angle, you're going to see everything from a defeated state. And then when your thoughts are about that, you're going to walk it out from that perspective, and you don't even realize you're in that zone. You have not been taught how to win. You want to learn how to win, we'll find out how your ancestors won, what it is with them, how they made their way of life. And We're not talking about this in a colonial sense. This is not these colonies. This wasn't a one day thing. Like there was a battle and no, man. This is a huge thing. So we're still in the fight. It's not over. It's not over until you win. It's not over until we get this thing figured out and we retrace it and we bring honor to ourselves by finding out, telling the truth of the stories of our own family. So that's what it is. That's where we're at. Let's be real, be honest, and not be completely assimilated. Absolutely.
And let's acknowledge that we're assimilated first, and then understand the process that we utilize so we understand how to undo it. And that's not going to come with yelling around and screaming about what you know. That's not how you're going to get there. Because the minute you start talking to me about what you know, that means you close yourself off to what you can learn. And if you're not willing to learn, then there's not much that I can learn from you either. Because you're not even in a position to acknowledge that you need to learn. How can I then trust what you're telling me? You might think you know it all, and you might not know anything. I always bring it back to the fact that I literally at one point thought I was Narragansett Indian and African American. I thought I was something that doesn't exist wholeheartedly. And I'm like, yo, if I can think like that, as active as I was, and as socially, aware as I was running the community center, and I can be thinking that, what could anyone be thinking? That's not true. Word, most definitely. And I come from a background of understanding more science and also Islam and all these things. I went into that and I was understanding this whole idea of the Moorish paradigm and all these things, and it was like, should it be Joel Ali Bey, this, and I really thought of it, but I never went and went all the way the steps to go and like get my Moorish nationality card because I wasn't near a Moorish science level. This was all knowledge of other Moors and different things. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter if you say Moors came to Borinquen or Moors were the North Gate. At the end of the day, the North Gate fell, obviously. So they came over here and they brought them over here on ships. They navigated ships because they were the navigators of the land, the Moors. So all you're doing is trading the English paradigm for the Moors, which were defeated by the English, and they came.
Hey, a Moor is literally an African American, a Moorish American.
I want to be enslaved to this. No, I'll be enslaved to that.
Hey, but hold on. Yo, peep game though. A Moorish American is literally an African American. By definition.
That's it.
A Hebrew American is also literally an African American. Yo, I mean, this is not rocket science. You know what I mean?
It's not.
It is crazy.
And I'm at the point now, I really feel bad for a lot of people who are caught up in that, because I'm like, yo, man, you're so colonized and so mixed up that you can't even see the common sense that you're not making. You can't even see the sense that you're not making. That's a dangerous place to be in.
Very.
That you're not making sense.
This is crazy.
Yo, see.
Yo, you gotta get past certain things in yourself that allow you to fear yourself that much. Yeah. That allow you to fear the unknown, what you don't understand. You have to get past yourself. Because I mean, you're scared to look at yourself, and it's
especially having to admit, say you were going full hard the Moorish stuff, having to turn and admit that you were wrong with all of that. That's the look in the mirror. And I take my hat off, because I bump into some Moors every once in a while who, when we get into the conversation, will be like, yo, you're spot on. I'm gonna start checking into my stuff. And to me, I take my hat off to that person, because you're willing to let go of your ego and look at what actually makes sense. What actually makes sense? Does it make sense that everyone here came from Morocco? Does that make sense? That we were over here? Does it make sense
hey, you're a product made to crumble. Crumble. Let it crumble. Let it crumble.
Yep. All of that nonsense.
Go through it.
Let it go.
Go through it. Go all the way through it and see if it connects and see where it cracks. And then let it crack. Then now look back closer at what's already in front of you.
Go back home. Now I think that's gonna be the new motto. Go back home.
Yo, real shit.
Want to know where to go now? Go back home.
You know what I mean? Find out where home is. What they say, home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is.
There you go.
Where your heart at?
I believe in
what you find.
Your elders.
Yeah.
Actually giving it to you, walking it out. Go through it.
Yeah, it's just really interesting. You know what I mean? Like, like it feels real crazy to me that, from one group to the next group, from one movement to the next movement, you know what I'm saying? We got a whole bunch of people that want to be everything and what their grandmothers and grandfathers was. You know what I'm saying? Your grandmother, your grandfather, you need to see if your people was landowners, man. Was your people landowners? Because like in regards to what I was saying earlier about my great grandfather's first cousin, now I already was told that my people, we own land throughout DC, Maryland, Virginia area. You know what I'm saying? I was already informed of that early. So my question for Gibbs was like, yo, I need to study law. Like, how can I get in the law study when I'm trying to survive? All kinds of shit was going on. So fast forward, now I'm finally able to speak to my great grandfather's first cousin, and he's telling me specific information so I can further the research into our people's land and the status of the land. I got word directly from him what happened to our land. I got word directly from him that when he was a little boy, he remembered seeing cemeteries on our land. We had churches, we had schools, we had cemeteries. Everybody had farms. My great-great-grandfather, his father had a farm, etc. Everybody had farms. You know what I'm saying? We was taking care of our shit. The Irish came in, apparently paying some fucking frivolous tax on some shit. Our people never pay no fucking tax. But these foreigners paid tax, and some way, somehow, these motherfuckers gained possession of our land from paying a fucking imaginary tax. That kind of shit.
I was at an art gallery earlier. I was at an art show for artists. His name is Mel Green, and he comes from Gullah Geechee. You're talking about folks that in their history, their recorded history, what it is, that they're Central and West African slave, basically folks that bought their land or settled on land and blended the language into Creole language and all this and all that. And that's based on facets of their history. But I saw a documentary where they had some issues with the title, but they have a community title where basically it's almost tribal. The family has to all agree to sell something or can be sold, but there's been a bunch of litigation, different things that have gone on with their title. And I asked him about it. Land, if he goes back to their land. And he said yes, and they said, oh well, we've had it from this point. And I said, what? How about before that? Well, before that, we had it from 1840 something. And then he said, well, but before that, it was the time when supposedly the Gullah people owned everything out here. But slowly they sold away or they took the title in different ways. So in any history, even in a history that's ordered to last a certain length of time, there's a point that goes beyond that, and that's the point that you got to come to understand. You come to that line, that place, connected, where it goes. So these folks, that it's like part of the whole African American story. At the end of the day, they connect right down to that, and they still use some of their traditional names blended with other things, but connect yourself to your land because everyone has ancestors that come from everywhere. But how did you get there? Why was that land not chosen? Out of all the places where your people could settle, Why there? And it will lead you right back to it. Lead you right back to that land. What's the name of that land before it was called what it's called today?
Exactly.
Like, into that history. I go back into my ancestral land in Puerto Rico or Borinquen. You go back to the municipalities have completely different names. They're not what they were called originally, or what they were called by the people that were there. There was Creolized names, and they're like now names, you know. And but when you go down to the root, go back to that. What was this called? This is all done with maps and all these kind of things, and you'll find a language. And if you're from this area, it ties back to this language, to these people. Again, it will connect. So let's do it. Let's do it, and let's make sure we are aware that we come in all these different shades and we all these different, and there's a lot of different reasons for that. Whether it's casteism, whether it's social engineering, or whether it's just our own fairer views and darker views. Yeah. At the end of the day, we can't be measuring ourselves by the way that they choose to downgrade us. We can't accept those kinds of values. We gotta reject those values. Start, understanding, man, we have to have a new value system that's really authentic to us. Because pretty much it all comes from us. And then we forget ourselves. All of this whole system of this government, all these different we gotta recognize our greatness and believe it.
Yo, man, I really appreciate y'all presence this evening, everything that y'all shared. I feel like the people, they have received a lot of great insight, perspective, awareness overall from you both. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking this,
I said we had a couple false starts where we technical difficulties, so I hope we were able to, do something for the people.
Yeah. Everybody seems good up in the chat. You know what I mean? Everybody's pleased. Chat's active. They having various discussions, things of that nature. But all in all, they on point though. You know what I'm saying? So I'm all in all, I'm grateful. Much appreciation to everyone in the chat. African American Africans, my apologies for Buck not being present this evening. He had to handle some business and all of that, so he asked me to do this. You know what I mean? Just keep it moving. You know what I mean? Like the Chiefs was saying, yo, people, definitely, y'all got to put in that work for you and yours. You know what I'm saying? From that point, y'all can kill a lot of confusion. Got to kill the confusion that's going on.
And let me say this too. Take the time to get out and experience your culture. Get up out of the books. Get up off of YouTube. I'll put this out there. I shared it at the powwow as well. The 29th and 30th here in Providence, Rhode Island, 9th annual Big Drum Powwow, traditional Eastern Woodlands powwow. They're in the New England, Mid-Atlantic region. New York is about a 3-hour drive up from there. You can do that. If you're a road warrior, you can do that. It's straight up 95 north. I had said 24 in another video. It's actually exit 23 state offices. You go 95 north, take a right off the exit. To get off the exit, once you come to the end of the exit, take a left at the light, and the powwow's right there. Hop in. And to the Chief's point, come with a spirit of humility. Don't come to no powwow trying to tell people who they are and what they. Don't do none of that. That's not even the spirit you should be bringing to a powwow. Go there, take in the culture, ask some questions, learn about people who are doing this, so that you can be further along on your journey. Get up off the youth. It's a great platform. It's allowing us to have this conversation, but go beyond that. Like the Chief said, walk that walk.
I would say something about it also is that people have picked up this term, this Narragansett term of powwow, and made it into something that goes across the board as far as the identity of it. It goes across the native and all these different ideas, but it was just a word that was accepted to mean this traditional gathering. but everyone's people doesn't have powwow. So some of your people may have aretos. They have their own name for the celebration. Ask. Be humble. Find some other folks that you know might have some connection. You know, there's somebody that connects. Ask someone else, an associate, a family. What are these celebrations? Because some people in the islands, they had their own celebrations. They integrated that into Carnival. So it depends where you are, what these celebrations are, how they were blended with some of the organic culture, but they're still your culture.
I'll share this. The Crows out in the Northern Plain, the Crow tribe, I heard that they tell you we don't powwow. That's not our ceremony. They know it's not from them. So even within these federally recognized tribes, diversity in terms of the ceremonies and traditions, all this, you can't just grab one, say that this is for all of us. You have to understand specifically what people you're talking about, what their ways are, what their experiences are, and how they got to be in the situation that they're in today, because we all got colonized, but not all in the same exact way.
Yo, do y'all want to close out on anything? It's like, you know, I feel like this has been a very productive, very progressive. A lot of questions was answered. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna take an opportunity to plug a couple things. I'll plug the Federation of Aboriginal Nations of America Facebook page. But I'll also plug the Sibuko Bayamon Taino Tribal Nation Facebook page. Check that out, Sibuko Bayamon Taino Tribal Nation. You can also check the I Am Taino page. Look up I Am Taino. That's a page that's put up by the Baito Amagwajate and the Sibuko Bayamon Taino in conjunction with you. We put postings on there, keep people informed as things happening in the Taino world, and also just notable information. And check it out again. CIPUCO FANA, Federation of Aboriginal Nations of America. Also, just check it out, man. There's a lot of culture, a lot of things going on, a lot of resources. We send out a travel welcome package context for the burgeoning mind that is going back into self and looking for some guidance in terms of keeping their own identity. So you can email us again at sibukobayamon.chief@gmail, or just find me on Instagram at TAPIAUNO and the number 1. And I can accept emails going forward for information. And also anyone looking for their roots.
I'll just plug in. Next week won't be available. It's the 9th annual New England Native American Culture Week here in Providence. That's what the big drum powwow is the culmination of. So next Thursday I'll be doing a presentation on Providence's Indian history. Cool. It won't be available for next Thursday, so I'll probably take it off. But we'll look to, hopefully, if Mr. Davis and you will have us back, you'll invite us maybe the week after that to come back with another chief to kind of share some different perspectives or answer any questions that the people might have.
Yo, much appreciation. I'm about to say something. Oh yeah. Teacher Regwa, also Two Hawks. If you can, on that post in the African American Africans group, if you could put your links in there or post directly to the group itself, any information that you would like the members to be aware of, that would be greatly appreciated. That way it's easily accessible and all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Very good. Will do.
Yeah, so and also I might do a live tomorrow and just go back over these points and offer people the opportunity to ask more questions, and basically I'll just reiterate on what you've already said, because I mean, yeah, in the past month, a little over a month, I believe now, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's been nothing but quality information, confusion's being killed, you know what I mean? And like I said, I'm grateful, you know?
Lord, we appreciate the opportunity to share some thoughts, brother. Really appreciate it.
That's what it is, yo. I appreciate y'all. Y'all want to close? I love when y'all speak. No, I love when y'all speak the natural language. You know what I mean?
Have a great evening, friends. definitely look forward to connecting soon.
Okay. Which means ain't no deed, good luck to you, any blessing, let it be so.
Yo, much appreciation. Yeah. Hey, y'all enjoy y'all evening.
Absolutely.
All right. Be good. All right, y'all. So we closing out right now. Much appreciation to you all. You know, I'll most likely be back tomorrow evening. Hopefully Buck will be available and Digits won't be available. You know what I'm saying? So we can go back over this again, answer some questions, you know, have a general discussion. You know what I mean? But I hope y'all receive this information well. Yo, trust yourselves, man. You know what I mean? Stop listening to these weirdos. You know what I mean? Stop giving your money away to these weirdos, man. That same money that y'all giving these weirdos, if you knew what you was doing, you know what I'm saying? You'll be paying for very specific things to engage these foreigners with. Gotta give notices. You know what I'm saying? You gotta spend some time you know, learning this common law situation. You know what I mean? It's a lot of things in which we gotta be on point about. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm closing out. Once again, much appreciation. Buck had to handle some business this evening. You know what I mean? But he's gonna be back real soon. Y'all be good though.